Over and out. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Padmini ji and Gayatri ji for a wonderful session. Like always, beautiful Narad Bhakti Darshan going on. I loved the discussion that I followed towards the end. So welcome everybody. Welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. We are going to go through the concept, the philosophical discussion today. Why this creation, right? I have struggled with this question as well. Why did God have to do it to begin with? Let there be vacuum. So we'll try to philosophize and get through that. And then also we have a special segment today because it's going to be Mahashivratri over this weekend. So we are going to watch a beautiful video today as part of our today's session and have a little bit of a discussion around that as well. So very warm welcome to all of you. If you are new to the session, please do fill up the feedback tracker. I'd love to hear from you or raise your hand. It's always a pleasure to see new faces and hear from new faces. So welcome to our session. So let me share my screen and we shall get underway. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. This is not the screen you should be seeing. Should be seeing something else. I don't know what happened, but I will pull it up. Don't give me a sec. Sorry about the minor interruption. All right, now I have got the right one. Great. Welcome once again, all of you. Let's get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru like we always do. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening to all of you. Very warm welcome. So we'll move to 3.22. And this is where God is talking about that I have nothing to gain or attain, and yet I do my duties, right? He does the same because he's talking and advocating to all of us to do our prescribed duties. And in the previous shloka, as we said, he's saying that people normally follow the externals. So in a way, all of us are a leader, in that sense, because somebody is watching us and observing us. So for us to give up the prescribed duties will not set a good precedent. Right? And it's only for a selected few that Karam Sannyas is a recommended path. For 99.9% of the people, Karam Yoga is the way to go. Because then not only you are progressing, but you are also not setting a wrong precedent in society. Right? The social system can disrupt if people start following sages and saints and give up their duties and say that I need to go to Himalayas and do my sadhana and seva only, not just the sadhana only. So anyways, we'll talk about what God has to say because he's building on that. So I'm going to recite it and then you're welcome to follow along. Name parthasti kartavyam Trishu lokeshu kinchana Nanavaptam avaptavyam Varta eva cha karmani. All right, so calling out first.
Radhe Radhe. Name pardhasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. See, God is establishing his dominion over the all three worlds here, right? With the The very authority is saying there is no duty for me to do in all the three worlds. Trishu Lokeshu. All the three worlds. Okay. Let's pick up a few hands and then we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि.
Very nice. Thank you, Sandhya. All right, let's pick up a few more hands.
Radhe Radhe SSP ji.
Radhe Radhe. न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि.
Very nice. Thank you. Yesterday, I think Anita ji and Aparna ji didn't get a chance, so we can.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe Shyam ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. न मे पार्थस्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe. Very nice, Shyam ji.
Radhe Radhe Anita ji, please go ahead.
राधे राधे. न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Aparna ji.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji and everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. Thank you.
Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you, Aparna ji. Okay, last two hands. We'll freeze it and then we'll get started. Like I said, we have a special segment in between, so we'll watch a video and then proceed with our discussion today. Okay, last three hands.
Radhe Radhe Pragi ji.
Yeah, thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि.
Wonderful. Very nice. Ragi ji, thank you. Last two hands.
Radhe Radhe Sumesh ji.
राधे राधे नितिन जी. राधे राधे राहुल जी. न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. राधे राधे.
Thank you, Sumesh ji. Last but not the least, Sairam ji.
Radhe Radhe
Radhe
Sairam.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Sairam ji.
Yeah, we are not able to hear you, Sairam ji.
Sairam ji, we are not able to hear you. You may have to.
Yeah, he has some audio connections probably. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get started. If Sairam ji comes back, then we'll. Okay, Sairam ji, are you able to talk now?
Radhe Radhe, are you able to hear me?
Now we
Yes.
are able to hear you.
Okay. न मे पार्थस्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि.
Wonderful, very nice. Thank you. So let's get started then. So Lord Krishna is saying here, there is no duty for me to do in the three worlds. And we'll see why he's saying that. Okay, that actually goes back to the very definition of God himself. O Parth, nor do I have anything to gain or attain. That is again a definition of God, right? He has nothing to gain or attain. Yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Okay, and he's saying even I am engaged in prescribed duties. So as Jivatmas, of course, you have to do that. There's no way out of it. So let's get started. So today we are going to talk about why did God do the creation? Is there any purpose behind it? Is what we are going to look at. This question bothers, right? So we'll see if part of that puzzle is solved today. I have struggled with this question for a while as well. And by the way, see, it's like if you see a painting, that implies a painter. If you see a poetry, that implies a poet, right? Similarly, when you see a creation, that implies a creator. So when you see something beautiful, there is a creator behind it. So that is how it happens in nature as well. And when you see laws, perfect laws, law of gravity, law of thermodynamics, law of optics, it implies a lawmaker as well. It's a very simple logic. So lawmaker, creator is who we are going to talk about today. All right. So before we get started, I wanted to wish everybody a very happy Shivratri, Mahashivratri, which is coming up. So let's watch a beautiful video. Okay, we'll have a little bit of discussion on this because it's a very sweet video and it's going to bring out some facets of bhakti as well. So let's watch this video quickly. Yes, Nilesh, you had a question?
Yeah, Nitinji, quick question. So which are the three words which we referred to in 3.20, the words which we read?
We spoke about the three, right? The upper regions, the celestial abodes, and then the middle one and the lower ones. So that is how each Brahmand is segregated. Okay. So he says, it's all my dominion, but I don't have to do anything basically, but still I do my duties. Like I told you, right? God is a frequent traveler. Not even for a second he's free. First of all, he's noting down our karmas and thoughts and everything. Secondly, he's sustaining everything. Thirdly, he's doing prem dan in Golok, for the liberated or the prem god realized souls. And in addition to that, he's also taking avatars. So while we speak, there's a good possibility that there is a Bhagavad Gita going on in one of the Brahmans or Ram avatar going on, right? Ram and Krishna avatars are pretty popular. So not even for a second, even he's doing Leelas all over. So not even for a second, even he's free. He's the most busiest person you can imagine, right? It's like a CEO of a company is busy, president of the country is busy, and he's the president of the entire universe, multiverses. So he's super busy. Okay, that's essentially what he's going to tell. So let's get started with the beautiful Leela that we are going to play today. Why it is not playing now? I don't know why it's not playing. It should play. Give me a sec. Too many technical challenges today for me, but hopefully we'll get it fixed now. All right, maybe in a small screen. Okay, so what I do is I'll stop share and again share it. Something is not right today, so but I'll fix it because video we can still play. All right, so I'm going to make the speed a little faster, which you'll be able to follow as well. Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Audio.
Yes, audio.
Nand Baba came running, and Nand Baba reached the Prasutika Griha, where the pregnant lady is kept. That's the Prasutika Griha. And he said, Hari Yashoda, give me darshan of your Lala. Yashoda said, what will you give in return for the darshan, for the mukh dikhai? You see the mukh dikhai. You see the face, that is mukh dikhai. What will you offer in return? Nand Baba said, depends upon his mukh. So Yashoda said, take a look. And Nand Baba saw. He said, ooh, I offer my tan, man, pran, everything on this little child. Now the news spread. All the Brajbasis gathered. They started celebrating. They all started coming for darshan. Day followed day and the celebration would not end. Everybody would come to the house of Nand Baba. Nand Baba would offer grains, clothes, wealth, cows. He would make all the yachaks into ayachaks. fulfill the desires of everybody who would come. He was so delighted, and the Brajbasis' joy knew no bounds. They are delighted that our chieftain has got a child at this age, and such a wonderful child. Now, they were celebrating. This is not astonishing. The astonishing thing is that Lord Shiv, who was sitting in Samadhi in Kailash, he also came for darshan. And at the time of the Ram avatar, he had changed his dress. But during the Krishna avatar, he came in his original form. He had the Mundamahal and the snake around his neck, and the scorpions hanging from here. In that original Shringar, Lord Shiv reached. He knocked on the door of Nand and Yashoda, and Yashoda opened the door to find this Babaji there, with scorpions hanging from the ears and a snake around the neck. Yashoda said, "Hari Babaji, what do you want? Who are you?" Lord Shiv said, "Maya, this child of yours who has been born, who is inside, I am his son, the son of the son of his son." Yashoda said, "What are you talking about? He is 2 days old. If you are the son of his son's son, that means in every 6 hours he is having children." Lord Shiv said, "Maya, you don't see him as a 2-day-old. He is eternal. He has descended in this world as the avatar." So Yashoda said, "Babaji, he was born from my stomach, and you say he has taken avatar?" Because Yashoda has personal experience. She had the baby in the womb, and when she woke up, the womb is empty, the baby is here. So she sees him as her child. How can she believe that he is the avatar? So Yashoda said, "Babaji, my hair has not become white in the sun." She is showing the seniority of her age. So don't try and teach me. Now when she showed the seniority of her age, Lord Shiv said, "Maya, do you know how old I am?" Yashoda said, "How old are you?" He said, "Ever since this world has existed, I have also existed." Yashoda said, "Just now you said you are the son of his son. And now you are saying you are Adi Jag. What do you want? Ask, I will give it. I am very happy, I am giving everybody things. What is it that you want?" Shankarji said, "Maya, I don't want material things, because Kuber is my servant. Riddhi and Siddhi are my maid servants. I only want darshan of your Lala." Yashoda said, "Babaji, this can never be." "Why? Your form is such. You have got a snake, you have got Bichu. If my Lala sees, he will become terrified." Shivji said, "Maya, he will become terrified looking at me. He is Kalatma Bhagavan. Bhayadasyad Mistapati, Bhayatapati Surya, Bhayadindrashcha, Mrityu Dhavati Panchavaha. Even death trembles in front of him. What are you saying? He'll be scared of me." Now Yashoda said, "There's no point speaking to this Baba." So Yashoda said, "Babaji, it seems like you have got some hysteria or something. Go and get yourself treated. And I am not going to give darshan of my Lala. Although Shankar is Jagadish, he is God. Krishna is God, he is God, they are doing Leela amongst themselves. But right now God has taken avatar as the son of Yashoda. So Yashoda's seat is higher, she is the mother of Bhagavan. He is mine, what will you do?" Lord Shiv had to return. But he did not go to Kailash. He went on the banks of the Yamuna and started crying. Same strategy. And he is crying so much, Sri Krishna is crying there. So one Sakhi, Yashoda tried to quiet. Chup, 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 chup. She used all the chattu, gunmana and everything mothers used to quieten the child. Finally one Sakhi said, "Did you understand something?" "What?" "That Baba who had come, he has cast an evil spell. You disrespected him, you should not have done that." So Yashoda also agreed, yes, yes, yes. After his going, he has started crying. Yashoda said, "Find out where he has gone." The Sakhis went here, they went there, and finally they discovered that he is sitting on the banks of the Yamuna. Yashoda went herself, "Babaji, I made a big mistake. You please come to my house. If your feet fall in my house by their dust, my house will get purified." Shankarji said, "Bacha, I have decided I will not go to the house of any Grihasti." So Yashoda said, "Arey, nahi Babaji, it's not about you, it's about me. It's about my child, my house. Please, I beg you, I request you." So Lord Shiv now came with great pride. And moment he saw Sri Krishna saw Shiv. Sri Krishna's crying all finished. This Leela took place when Krishna was 2 days old. That Anant Koti Brahmand Nayak is doing a Leela. Why does he do this drama? You can never count the number of reasons for his avatar.
All right. Are you able to see my screen now? Hope you enjoyed this little sweet Leela that Lord Shiv and Lord Krishna enacted during Krishna Avatar. By the way, similar Leela was enacted during Rama Avatar as well, where he had come to meet Mother Kaushalya, something similar. So Lord Shiv comes. He's Jagdish, like Swamiji said, right? He's God himself. There's no difference between them. And in divine pastimes, they do these Leelas, right? So then they are in a mutual admiration club. One says you are, the other says you are my Ishtadev. So both consider each other as their spiritual fathers in divine Leelas. And in fact, I've been following this, not following, but reading a little bit. I mean, in Kali Yuga, the irony is there's a sage basically. His name is Shri Hit Premanand Govind Sharan Maharaj Ji. And he is of late become popular because Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma went to him in Vrindavan. Okay, and he's a big upasak of Radharani. So some of these things that he said, and he used to worship Shiv, Lord Shiv previously. And people ask him, how come, you switched your Ishtadev? He said, when a girl gets married, her relationship does not sever from her parents. Okay. And Lord Shiv himself, to the people who have bhakti, who start, the bhakti sanskar start fructifying in them, he himself leads them to Krishna, his Ishtadev. Radha and Krishna, they are the epitome of bhakti. So it's not about that, you are changing, it's all the same. So devotees, they do understand there's no difference. And Krishna Radha Bhakti is very durlabh. And to the cream of the cream, everybody will basically, even Shiv Bhakts, they would get to that part. Even Shiv is happy to lead them there. And that is what he was telling. I've found it pretty fascinating there. So anyways, that is for the occasion of Mahashivratri. I wanted to show you. Hope that sets up the Mahashivratri, with a little bit of philosophy around it as well. Now let's get back to the topic that we are going to discuss today. Today we are going to talk about why God is saying what he's saying in this particular shloka. Now let's start with a little bit of fundamentals around it. Now, whenever something is done in this world, it is done with some kind of a prayojan or some kind of a motive. Without a motive, even a lunatic person does not work, who has lost it completely. So let's look at it. Now we all want a dream job when we are studying, right? That is the incentive parents give you. Study hard, and once you get the dream job, you are all set in life. Or once you crack a seat in an entrance good college, then your life is all set. Or once you clear boards, your life is all set. Okay, it's an illusion everybody creates. I mean, that's what I was telling Swamiji. My parents used to tell me, complete your board exams, your life will be all set. Then they said, clear the entrance, your life will be all set. Then they said, get a job, your life will be all set. And then people started saying, get to US, your life will be all set. And they said, get married, then your life will be all set. And everything, when it seemed to be getting set, I met Swamiji. And he said, your life is just started. You've not even done anything that you were supposed to do. So the point here is we all start with a, craving for a kind of a perfect job or a dream job. That's what we study for. So that we can earn money, get money, good money, so that we can get a good spouse, so that, we can get a dream house that we always craved for, so that we can do the economic and social development, get the dream car and everything, so that finally we have a family, right? That is the template life for most of the people, is what they think, so that we are happy. Okay, bottom line is you want to be happy. Everything that you are doing is because you want to be happy. That's all, right? So it's a formula we think is there for happiness. Nobody works without the incentive or motivation of getting happiness, right? And there's a reason for that, right? Spiritually speaking, we are part of the perfect happiness from ocean into the ocean. So the part is seeking the whole, because we are part of God. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mame Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are part of God. So we are naturally inclined towards or attracted towards the whole. Like water vapor, water cycle happens, it becomes cloud, it rains back to ocean, from ocean into the ocean, from mud into the mud. So same thing, from ocean of bliss, seeking the bliss, or the happiness. So every act that we do is to gain happiness out of it. Otherwise, we will not do that thing. Even a kid, when he's born, cries because of the pain that he has experienced. So crying is also a process of reclaiming happiness for the pain that you have experienced. So nobody works without any motive. Okay. So that brings us to the point that, okay, now this is the same concept. We work because we need something, and we are drop. You see the beautiful drop, colorful drop here from the ocean. And as tiny parts of God, the ocean of bliss, we also seek bliss. We have not attained perfect bliss, and that is why we are dissatisfied and incomplete. So whatever we do for the sake of attaining bliss, and that bliss, until we get that, we will keep on saying, the soul will keep on saying, no, I need something more, I need something more, I need something more. And that quest will continue. It's like living on 99, no matter what you have. You will never be satiated unless you get that perfect bliss of God. Okay. So material things, when we are trying to quench our thirst, when material thing, it's like serving the parrot by just decorating the cage, or taking the fish out of water and giving it ornaments. It will say, no, get me water. That's all I need. So our soul is divine. All it's seeking is divine bliss, that perfect bliss of God. And we are trying to compensate for that through material thing, through relations, through objects, through all the material undertakings that we do. And that is why we keep shifting our milestones with the hope that one day we'll be happy, but that perfect happiness continues to elude us. Okay. All right. So we do it. When we do duties, we have to, whatever work undertaking we do, we do it with an expectation of happiness around that, right? So that is the concept. Now, having said that, let's move on and see. Now, when we do things, typically they will fall into three categories. Either you are doing it for yourself, for the sake of your body, or for the sake of your senses, or you would do it for others. Like people do philanthropic deeds for the sake of others. They want to help others, do some noble deeds. Or you would do it for God, which is called seva, right? Or karam yoga. These are the three things. Is there any other? There's no other category, right? Either world or God. Now, if we compare it with God, what does he have to do? He has to either do it for himself, which is God, or for others, right? These are the two categories God has. Now, let's look at the definition of God. He also needs a motive, right? For something to do something. Let's look at it. Now, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun that although in his personal form as Lord Krishna, he has no duty to perform in the universe, yet he works for the welfare of others. In case of God, only motive he has is for the welfare of Jiva, right? He has no other motive to attain for himself. We do it because we are not yet there. We are doing it for our own sake, for our own happiness. When God does some work, or a saint does some work who is God realized, then the only motive that they have is Jiva Kalyan or for others, not for anybody else. Okay, that is how it works. And so that is a very key technical difference between when we do something and when saints or God does something. It is only for the welfare. There is absolutely no other prayojan they have. Why? Let's look at it. Now, the very definition of God, as we will see right now, is God is perfect in himself, completely perfect in himself, and he has no need of anything outside of himself. In our scriptures, God is defined as, Vedas say, Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. That means no God to be bliss himself. When you say God is bliss, God is bliss. God has bliss is also not the correct term. God has bliss means something has gotten added to God, right? Like rasgulla. Without ras, it is a sponge, right? It doesn't taste sweet until you soak it with something. So when you add ras to gulla, it becomes rasgulla. Otherwise, it's pure gulla, right? So God has bliss is not like you've added bliss to God. God is bliss. In fact, our body is made up of Pancha Mahabhut. God's body is made up of bliss. I don't know how it touches. Okay, only saints can tell you. It is made up of bliss. So God is bliss is what scriptures are telling us. And we all are seeking bliss. Even an atheist, for that matter, is seeking bliss. So technically, nobody is an atheist. They're also seeking God. It's just that they're not aware of it, right? You can call it Papa, or you can call it my mom's husband. In both cases, you are calling the same entity. So we are calling it God. Somebody calls it nature. Somebody calls it nothing, basically. They may, some divine something, they might name it anything. And somebody, they don't believe on anything, right? Like there are so many theories around it, right? That there's no God and stuff like that. Or God is the opiate of the masses, or my God died young and all that stuff. But ask them, would they do anything where they will not get bliss? Anything that they are seeking anything other than happiness? The answer would be a vehement no. They are also seeking happiness. They are also seeking bliss. And when they are seeking happiness and bliss, means they are seeking God as well. So technically, nobody is an atheist. It's just a matter of time, or probably they fail to acknowledge that fact because their understanding is probably at the surface level only. Okay, so scriptures say God is bliss. Brahma Sutra says God is the veritable ocean of bliss. Anandamayo bhyasat, basically. Ramayana states inside you is the ocean of bliss, which is God. Anand Sindhu Madhya Tavvasa. So God is bliss, is all the scriptures are telling us. And the definition of God is, let's look at it. He's Atmaram. Okay, what is Atmaram? Atmaram is one who rejoices in the self. He doesn't need somebody else to make them happy. Okay, I need this, I need that, and then I'll be happy. No. And that is the state we need to work towards, especially if we are sincere about our spiritual journey. He rejoices in the self. The second definition, aspect, attribute of God is Atmarati. Atmarati means one who is attracted to his or her own self. What a cool position to be in, right? He's just happy in himself. In fact, it is said when Krishna looks at himself, he faints, He's like, oh my God, how beautiful I look. He faints himself. So there is a beautiful Leela of Radha and Krishna where he's saying Radhe and he's fainting. Then Radha is saying Krishna, she's fainting. And then Radhe is fainting. So they are fainting, taking turns and fainting. So we can't imagine these Leelas where God has an ability, even his own bliss, he's able to, wow, kind of a deal. So he's also called Atmarati. Third definition of God is Atma Krida. That means one who performs divine pastimes with his or own herself, right? Adviti ek tattva hai, Radha tattva pradhan. He has duplicated the ras by creating Radha. So basically, he's taken that love, compassionate, perfect form and given it a female form, and then they do divine leelas. And people say, why don't they marry? They don't need to marry. They are eternally united. Okay, it's a soul of Krishna. So he can create divine pastimes with himself only. Like you see, Ram Avatar, Shiv, they are doing divine pastimes with each other and calling each other Ishtadev. So he has that ability through his Yogamaya power to do that. We don't have that power. So when God has all these things, why he's ending up creating us, right? I mean, he should just, right? People say so much of trouble we have to go through. I mean, let it be a vacuum. You go and enjoy yourself. Why are you having fun at our expense, right? That's what I used to feel to begin with. So it's a very valid question. Why creation? So let's get into a bit of a philosophical discussion. Okay, the plane is taken off. Let's talk about a quick story. Here you see a millionaire. Do you like this millionaire? Money is raining, cats and dogs on top of his head. He doesn't need an umbrella to shield himself from this money, but apparently he's carrying it for whatever reason. So once upon a time, that is how the story starts. Once upon a time, there was a dog named Rover, and the story is over. So thank you very much. Okay, let's have the discussion now. So yes, this guy was a billionaire. Now, he had a son also. You see? And whom he loved a lot. Right? Pretty straightforward. We do fall in love with our, kids. So apparently he loved his son as well. And then, not only that, but he knew the son's potential. He knew that his son is special. He very well knew the potential of his son. Okay, what all potential the son has to achieve in life. Okay. So keep the map of all the three things in your head. because now I'm going to throw out some questions to you and have a bit of a discussion, okay, and see where it leads us to. Now, let's put the question. Which of the following you think will give immense joy and demonstrate his expression of love towards his son? And let me throw some options here. I wish we could create a poll, but my luck ran out yesterday when I tried to create a poll. But so I thought, okay, let's keep it simple. The first option is giving his son nothing, keeping everything for himself, and letting the son go on his own. That is the first option. Second is giving everything to a son on a platter. Son, have it. I'm your father. You deserve it. Why do you deserve it? Because you are born in this family. You belong to me. And hope that he will be judicious and responsible. That is the second option. The third one is prepare his son. Once his son is ready and has earned the right to be his rightful heir, given the potential that he has, share everything with him. The fourth one is do nothing. He's not obliged to do anything. He owes nobody a dime, which includes his son as well. Which one do you think you would go for and why? Okay, it's an interesting question. So let's philosophize, wear our thinking caps on and hear it out.
Radhe Radhe Samji.
Yes,
Radhe
Sam.
Radhe. Third option.
Third option. You're being
Yeah.
very considerate. Okay.
I'm-
And all right, we'll
what
come
is it?
back to that. What makes you pick up third and not fourth? I would say do nothing. I mean, he's not obliged. He doesn't owe anybody a dime.
Yeah, but a father always loves sharing whatever he has with his son.
Okay.
But he doesn't want his son to misuse. So he'll wait for the son to become eligible and only then he will give.
Okay. Fair
whatever
enough.
he.
Fair enough. All right. Let's hear from others as well. If somebody has what option they would like to go with or think would be a more reasonable one than what Samji said.
There are multiple people commenting in the chat.
Yeah, let's hear some chat and hear something what they're talking about.
All of them are saying option 3, but Ankurji says option 1.
Give his son nothing, keep everything, and let the son go on his own. Okay, all right. Okay, that's his expression of love. Huh? That is the qualifying state. Okay, we'll come back to that as well. So Ankurji, would you like to shed a little bit more light on it? Basically, how would it help the son or basically help the father or basically certify his love for his son? Ankurji, if you would like to come over.
Maybe, hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe I would give a free, I would want in this situation, I would think that son is free to, do on his own and earn his own things, and father would also be in a state wherein he can give him a free way wherein he can, grow up in his own sense.
Sure.
Maybe.
So first and third option are different in the sense that in the first, father is hands off. In the third, father is also enabling the son to grow up and realize his potential. So which one would you prefer between 1 and 3, basically, in that case? Hands off dad or hands on dad, where he's actually helping or enabling or facilitating that process as well?
Hello, I missed your point.
No, the first one is dad is saying do whatever you want to do. Okay, I have nothing to do with you. The third one is, all right, I will facilitate the process so that you can realize your potential. So that is the only technical difference between 1 and 3, right? As I understand.
Right.
So which one would you prefer in that case?
I mean, it's very complex. I mean, in a real world, it's very complex. But yeah, 1 and 3. Of course, to be very honest, I was also thinking 3 is better. At least, if in case I am in the position of son, then I would also want some hand holding. But yes, if in case 1 is more of being very idealistic situation.
Now, keeping everything for himself, is it not something that you have a very narrow focus for yourself? I mean, what if isn't sharing a better proposition than keeping things for yourself and enjoying keeping it for yourself and enjoying for yourself alone?
Yeah.
See, one mindset is I have everything, I don't owe anybody a dime, and I will keep it for myself and enjoy for the rest of eternity or my life. Second is I have something that I would love to share it with people who are worthy enough, to actually be able to utilize it properly. Which one is a better mindset to get into? Just hold it for yourself and enjoy it for yourself, or having a mindset of sharing it with people who are eligible, or son when he becomes eligible?
Of course, sharing when once he's eligible, of course.
Okay.
And of course,
We'll come back to
part
this point again. Good. Thanks for your inputs. Let's hear from others as well.
So Sasmita ji says option 2.
Option 2. Okay, that's a good one. Give everything to him on a platter and hope he will be judicious. And Sasmita ji, would you like to explain that?
Radhe Radhe. As the father knows the son is means capable, he knows the potential of the son. So I think he should give him everything and wait and see what the son can do. If I would be in the same position, I will give that everything and I will make him understand that this is the reason why I'm giving, and it's up to you, whatever you do now.
Okay, so you will do first and then you will hope, you'll keep your fingers crossed basically. Okay.
No, not crossed. I have a faith that he will do everything for a good purpose.
And what if he starts blowing it all away in drugs and everything else? Then what will you do? Because you have taken a gamble in this case, right? You've taken a big gamble that, he will be responsible just because he has potential. You have taken a leap of faith, 50-50 leap of faith, right?
I know his potential, means he has a conscience,
Potential.
he can decide.
See, Vipul Kambli also had a potential, right? He was touted as more talented than Tendulkar. Just because he had potential, you think he lasted for as many years as Tendulkar did?
No, but he will learn from his mistakes and again he will stand up. That's why I think.
Okay, got it. All right, fair enough. Let's hear from other participants as well.
Shyamji and Champaji have voted for option 4.
Do nothing. Father is not obliged to do. You want everything. Okay. And Champa, you want to chime in for that? Love to hear on that as well. Maybe we should have a poll and see which one.
Yeah. Radhe Radhe. When we come to this earth, we have been born because we wanted to come away from the Lord. On our own free will, we are born. So we have born with our own karmas, and God will not interfere with that. Like to quote you in one of the classes, you had said that we have cooked for millions of lives and brought it with us. So we have to, I don't think he will interfere or give anything. He will make us do things and get it on our own merit.
Fair point,
Or
Champaji.
don't get it because we don't deserve it.
Fair point, Champaji. I will come back to you again. I will change a few dynamics here and then come back to this and see what the response is. But thank you. It's a very fair point you said. Let's hear from 3 more. I see hands and then we will build on this discussion and I'll change a few variables here. Yeah.
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, I agree with Champaji. I had the same mindset, that first point, and also you said about sharing. So, the sharing based on who deserves it. But who are we to judge anyone who deserves and who doesn't deserve?
Fair enough. Wonderful point.
Yeah, so we can share who we think is in need, but deserve is, I don't think is the right word. Or
okay, Snehalji and Champaji, I'll get back to you. Okay, so you both have taken a stance and which makes perfect sense. All right, let's hear from the other 2 hands.
Radhe Radhe, Prakashji.
Radhe Radhe. Beautiful discussion, Nitinji. Thanks for putting this slide. So I would go with option 3 because what I actually, at least after joining JK Yoga, what I'm learning is that yes, every soul has their own journey, and everybody has their own karmas, right? But when the kids come, parenting is nothing. I feel it's a responsibility for us, right? Until they come up to the speed on their own. So we need to help them to realize their potential. And then like Guru, right? Like, so we are souls, like, as Guru is helping us to realize our potential and taking to the God. Similarly, for the child, parents should be a Guru to lead them into the right direction, at least until the point that they know their senses, right? So it's a responsibility, because we need to remember that kids come through us, not from us. We don't have authority on them. But at the same time, we need to think that God has given us the responsibility to raise them towards. And then once they are on their own, yes, absolutely, they have their free will, and they can do whatever they want, and then they'll accumulate the karmas accordingly. But until the point that we need to actually help them to grow and then realize the values. That's what I feel. I may be wrong.
No, there's no right or wrong answer. So that is the whole idea of having this discussion. And interestingly, all four have been picked up. Okay. Now we'll pick up 2 hands and then conclude this discussion. Maybe 2 more hands. Surendraji, you wanted to add something? Thank you, Prakashi. Beautiful points.
Radhe Radhe, Surendraji. Radhe Radhe, Surendraji.
Yeah, thank you. Nitinji, first of all, point 4, the second sentence, nobody should be anybody. Sorry for observing that.
Nobody should be anybody?
Anybody, which includes the sun. So this, it's a grammatical point I'm observing. Nobody at time means everything to anybody. Anyhow, point 1 and point 4, they ultimately mean that this millionaire has only one son. He gives nothing. Ultimately, he gets everything. So that has to be seen. Otherwise, to prepare the son, point 3 is more plausible, more valid. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever way we try to build the son, he is going to get ultimately. This billionaire is not God or something, not to die.
Cool, very nice. Surendraji, now I see a few more hands raised, but let's change the dynamics a little bit now. Okay. Now let's say this billionaire that I'm talking about, who has a lot to offer, is God. And the son that we are talking about is Jivatma's us. Would it change your response in any way now? Let's say that billionaire we are talking about is God, who has everything to give. So many things to give: perfect knowledge, money, the perfect bliss that we are seeking for. And that son that I'm talking about is nothing but us. Would it change response? I would like to hear from Snehalji and Champaji to begin with. Anything at all? Does it change any dynamics? It's not a material father-son relationship now.
Radhe Radhe, Snehalji.
Radhe Radhe. The point that Champaji made, I am still sticking to it, because I still think that is correct, even if we change the dynamics here. I think from like that judging point of view, I don't think God loves everyone. So I don't think he says that, okay, this person doesn't deserve it, so I'm not going to bless him or something like that. So I think I'm still sticking to my point.
Okay, so let me add another thing to it. God is not judging, but God has a perfect law of karma. Right?
Yes. So that person comes with karma, right? He is jotting down everything and things like that. So yeah. So still, yeah, God doesn't owe anything to anyone. And
should God even have the concept of his special grace, where in Bhagavad Gita he says, I'm going to burn your stockpile of entire karmas and make you God realized as a part of my mercy? Should he do that, or he should refrain from that as well? He said, no, I will not. You exhaust your karma, however many lifetime it takes. I don't owe you anything.
I don't know. That I need to think.
I think somebody, give me a sec.
Rahulji, you want to make announcements?
Yes, I can make some announcements in the meantime. So one of the main announcements for the weekend is about the Mahashivratri celebrations at RKT Dallas. So it will be on the weekend from 17th to 19th. There's a 3-day program and some of the things will be online also. Nitinji, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Very much back. I thought Lord Shiva has come knocking on my door, okay, because of what I'm saying. Okay. Now, yes, I'm back. So yeah, we were talking about it. Now, God, what we are talking about is that if do nothing, just think about it. Do nothing means he will simply let our law of karma dictate everything. Okay, there is no concept of grace. There is no concept of mercy. There is no concept of giving us the special privilege of forgetting things in our past lifetimes so that we can, operate effectively. And there is no concept of burning off our entire stockpile of karmas once we become Sharanagat. That would be the father who will say, I will do nothing. Your karma, your wish. So would you still stick to that? I mean, let's think about this whole concept now. Or he's willing to help you as long as you are willing to help yourself.
Should I take Champaji or?
Yes, let's hear from Champaji.
Radhe Radhe Champaji.
Yeah. Nitinji, before you changed your sentence, I would like to say, you in this, the fourth line says, Father is not obliged to do anything. You replaced Father with God. God is definitely not obliged to do anything for anybody. And God does not owe anything to us. That time you did not bring the concept of grace, Sharanagati, and all that.
True, that's what I'm saying. In this
only
case,
through grace, anything can happen. He can give everything to us only if he graces. But he is definitely not obliged, nor he owes anything. And through bhakti and sharanagati, we can burn our past karmas, and he can give us that divine salvation also.
true, he's not obliged to, but his magnanimity is that he's willing to.
Yeah,
see,
he will do it.
Atma Krida and all, but still he says, I become Bhakta Vashya as long as you meet certain criteria around it, right?
Bhakta Vashya and Bhakta Baddha. That's why he does not give us also devotion very easily till he tests us, Once he gives devotion, he will get bound to us.
True.
So many people don't have devotion at all. We'll wonder why they are like that. It's not their fault. God has not given them as yet. Because once he gives them, he becomes bound to us.
True. So let's get back to, beautiful point. Very nice, Champaji. So let's get back to the whole philosophical discussion around why this creation. So here is a father who has everything, right? He can afford anything. He has everything. He wants to share that with us. He wants to make us like him. But he will give it when we are ready for it. Along the process, he's helping us as well. If he had not given, although he's not obliged to, right? He could be happy in himself. That is the whole discussion we started off with, right? Now, here is a father who's willing to share. And I personally, if somebody gives me an option, let there be no creation, or my existence is there and I can become like God, or he can give me all that he's capable of giving me, I would like to have that opportunity, then forfeit it. So that is the whole idea of talking about why did God create basically this creation at all? Why not be him by himself alone and enjoy, because he doesn't need anybody, right? So that was a philosophical discussion we were doing, and that's where I was leading to the point that he has created this for our benefit only, because his prayojan is Jiva Kalyan only. So that one day when we improve ourselves to an extent that we have become very pure, our antakaran is pure, he gives us all that he has as part of our inheritance. Bhakti is called our Daibhak, inheritance, true inheritance. But for us to claim that true inheritance, we have to work on ourselves. And he's more than happy, more than eager to help us along the way. That is the whole idea. See, when the Mahapralaya happens, we are in deep sleep. When we sleep, this is one of the biggest blisses in this material world. But the irony of that bliss is we are not even aware that we are in bliss. So would you like to have a permanent deep sleep or an opportunity to wake up and improve yourself so that you can become like God? That choice is always with us. So hopefully a bit of light I was able to shed and didn't confuse you all. Is it making sense why God, or it has confused even more? I hope it has not. Yes, so Anna, you wanted to say something? Let's hear from other hands now as well now.
One point I wanted to add that depending on our karmas, the next life is planned. And when after death, when we shed off this material body, the gross body, when you say, and when we are without the house, without food, without water, because you're just a soul. So then if you have done some bad deeds, Yam Bhagwan, he takes you on a journey. And that's a rigorous, painful journey. And he makes you see every second of what your life you have spent, the just life which you have just come out from. And that is when you realize that, I'll speak in Hindi, अरे मैंने उसके साथ ऐसा करा, ये व्यवहार करा, मेरे को उसको और help कर देना था. And I really regret doing that. And it's a long journey. It's not a fast completion, easily completed journey, so that the realization is 100%. So when you come in front of God to plan your next janma, so God is sitting there with other godly souls also, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and then you yourself, you tell that, okay, Bhagwan, mujhe ye sab chahiye next janam mein, because this is what I did in my past. And that is how he puts all the energy, and every second he plans. He is really powerful. If you go deep into it, and then he will give you the next janam, and that is how you can observe how people are leading this life. If you have that insight, you can get to know how their past lives would be. So yes, God is improving us by spending multiple births and deaths, and so that we come out from this material energy and realize that he is our eternal almighty and our beloved. So it's just like, to summarize, we are in a hotel and we spend everything, we relish, we take to our benefits, and finally we say, no, thank you, I'm done with it, enough. Now I don't want this food, I don't want this luxury life, no more, I want to get out of this hotel. So this life is like this, if we take it in the true sense. So he's given everything on the platter. We have air to breathe, clothes to wear, we have land to make a mud house or to make an apartment or a luxury house. And we should consider sand and gold the same. And any part of world you live, it's all God's creation.
True.
His Maya Shakti.
Yeah, beautiful points, very true. Every relationship that we are endowed with actually is haptic for a purpose and a reason. So the way he plans our prarabdha in every given lifetime is so that we can learn the lessons that we need to learn. Point is that whole material energy is pushing us towards God, and this universe, this whole creation is working like a sandpaper to file us so that we become better version of ourselves. Beautiful point. Let's hear. I can see quite a few hands today because it's been a bit of a philosophical discussion. Let's hear it out. What others have to say as well. So, Rahul, we can call up.
Radhe, Radhe.
Yes, Urvi.
Yeah, so what I was thinking about this is that rather than keeping the perspective of the father, we should keep the perspective of the child and then try to answer this question. So the first and the first and the fourth points, if the father says that even if the father is not obliged to do anything and he does nothing and he keeps everything for himself, then it's not a good position for a child to be in, right? We won't like that for ourselves. And the second and the third points that share, now you also got in the concept of God being the father. So obviously he's not selfish. even if we look at it from the father's perspective. And looking at the third and fourth points, so the father is ready to share everything with the child when the child is the rightful higher, but the truth is that the soul is never a rightful higher. So God is ready to give us everything on a platter, but he's still waiting, because the purpose of the world is to help us create that platter, and once we have that platter ready, everything will be given.
Beautiful. Yes, he's willing to give us everything on a platter, but not with a pure hope. He wants to make sure we become judicious and responsible as well, right? That is the whole idea. He's not leaving it to chance 50-50. Right? Like a material father, a responsible father would also do the same. He would make sure their son are worthy and eligible before everything is given to them. Otherwise, that, you know, they may do more harm than good. We have seen so many stories, billionaires, their son and you know, they become drug addicts and they just blow it away just because they don't have a sense of responsibility. They think it's an entitled thing. God doesn't work like that. If we could become happy without improving ourselves, then the purpose of creation is not served. He's a compassionate father who has our best interest in his heart, and the best interest is to actually make us the best version of ourselves, and then everything is in for the taking. And that is how he works on us. And that very opportunity that he's giving us is possible because of this creation only. Otherwise, we will be bereft of this wonderful opportunity to become God-like one day and experience all the wonderful things that God has to give us, right? So many saints have achieved that. People in flesh and blood have achieved that, and there's no reason to believe that we can't achieve it as well, right? And God is making it possible for us, lifetime after lifetime. Yes, let's hear a few more hands.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji.
Radhe Radhe. Just wanted to mention this. So God is causelessly merciful and also epitome of selflessness. And then he is an ocean of love, an overflowing ocean of love. So him being causelessly merciful, he would definitely want to share it with us, because we have been there eternally since he has been there. It's just that stupidly we have been vimukh, not facing him. So he's just trying to make us learn how to face him and receive that grace. So at least to me, that sounds like totally logical. But that being said, yes, he has to be fair. He just can't give it, though he's causelessly merciful, like that story that Swamiji says, right? That if there are two sons and one of them does not do anything, and still if he receives everything from the father, then the other one will not be motivated to do anything, right? And then, being like yesterday's shloka, leader sets precedence. So God is the leader of the leaders. So yeah.
Beautiful. Very nice. Very true. God is not whimsical. He operates through his perfect laws, right? So he follows certain things and makes sure that we are investing in ourselves, and he's helping us along the way until we reach the peak of the potential that we have. By the way, quick announcements. We have Shivratri celebrations over the weekend. Kids are going to have a ball in temple because we have, you know, a lot of good fun stuff planned for them. And adults are going to have a ball with the marriage celebration itself. We're going to have a pani puri stall. Hopefully the weather is going to cooperate, and a lot of fun, festive atmosphere that you can relish over the next 3 days. So come over to the temple, or you can join the celebrations virtually. So yes, let's move on and pick up a few more hands. It's a very interesting discussion. So let's hear out any other perspectives that are coming out of it. And hopefully this question, why did God create this creation, is a little bit getting untangled in our head. Yes. Who's next?
Radhe Radhe, Aparna ji. I will try to pick participants who have not spoken during
Sure. No, we can pick up. We have 4 or 5 hands. We can cover everybody.
Radhe Radhe, Aparna ji.
Radhe Radhe, Aparna ji.
Radhe Radhe. I think you covered all my points, Nitinji and Sandhyaji. Also, I was going to say the same thing, like a judicious father, he wants to see that we are ready to receive that. So I think that was my main point.
True. See, the judicious father would have the best interest of their kid, and they would not let them get spoiled just because he's indulgent or he can afford indulgence, right? So that is what he does. And at the same time, he's selfless. He wants to share. And there is no reason for him to keep it to himself, right? And that he wants
Right.
to share, but share it responsibly. Even a material father who's responsible would do the same.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Parnaji. Okay. 3 more.
Radhe Radhe Prakash ji, please go ahead.
Radhe, Rahulji. So I think even with Nitni, by the way, I'm really loving this conversation. It's very, very good, thought-provoking actually. Yeah, I'm actually still convinced that number 3 is the right answer, even after replacing with God. The reason is
I
that
think that is a consensus. Yeah. Number 3 is the, I think,
yeah.
most of
So and my perspective is that similar to what Sanjay ji said. So although God is causeless merciful, but there is a condition, right? We need to surrender to Him, right? Without that, we need to earn it actually, right? Without that, you will not give the mercy or grace. So similarly, in this case, also same thing. Child has to earn the right. Then only you will share everything. So that's how I correlate. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Let's hear from a couple of other hands. Yes, Rahul, who's next?
So there is a comment in the chat also. So Smita ji asked that this nature Prakriti has been created. Sunshine, air, material world, everything given unconditionally. Is that not everything for Jivatma to go through it and search for that divine bliss?
Yes, that is called God's causeless grace, but then God has a special grace also, like Swamiji explains. And then special grace comes when you start becoming Sharanagat. So regular grace is available to everyone. Even Ravan Kans had that, right? In order to kill them, God had to just make the air poisonous for them, or the water poisonous for them, or just simply leave their heart. He did not. He's given the generic grace to everybody. But the special grace starts coming in when we start becoming Sharanagat, when we start purifying our Antakaran. So God is saying, what is God asking? In creation, the only agenda of Jivatma is to do their cleanup job, Antakaran cleanup job. All he's asking is just become pure. That's all I need from you. Become pure and receive my grace. The day you are 100% pure, there will not even be a second's delay, nanoseconds delay in getting his grace and becoming God realized. Very simple. All he's asking us to improve ourselves, nothing else. Right? Our selfishness, the layers of selfishness, envy, greed, all these afflictions that we have accumulated across lifetimes, he said, get rid of it. And then I'm all yours at that point. Okay, let's hear. I see Champaji and Surendraji. So Champaji.
Radhe Radhe Champaji.
Radhe Radhe Champaji.
We can't hear you, Champaji. Let's take Surendraji. Maybe.
Yeah, let's take Surendraji while Champaji gets her audio fixed.
Radhe Radhe Surendraji.
Thank you, Nitinji, giving me the attention. Point 3, word is prepare. For preparation, God has provided us with gurus. So the concept of guru is more relevant, and therefore he has not left everything to the sun, to the population. Guru like Swamiji's, and I would say through Nitinji, etc. We have been given the tools to prepare ourselves. So these tools have to be used to earn that right. So point 3 is again solidified.
Yes. Yes, God's, through his mercy, he has put masters on this earth, God-realized saints from time to time. Swamiji,
that's correct.
They come and they give us. So yes, he has created it basically. Once you start seeking, he will open the floodgates for us. Very true. You're right. Today only I was hearing that story, right? Akbar asked Birbal, can you teach me Gayatri Mantra? And then he said, no, I cannot teach you. He said, no, I'm king. You have to obey my wish. So you have to teach me Gayatri Mantra. He said, no, I cannot. He said, no, you have to. He said, okay, in that case, come to my home. Birbal asked him. He goes to his home. And then there is a servant there. He said, give a slap to Akbar, the king. So the servant was zapped. He was looking at his face. And Akbar said, what kind of a person are you? Have you lost your mind? You are telling this guy to slap me. Akbar said, why don't you slap him instead? Give a tight slap to Birbal. So servant gave a tight slap to Birbal. So Birbal said, this is the point I was trying to tell you. You know, he did not listen to me because I don't have the right or the authority or the privilege. When you said that, you have it. So similarly, the Jiva Kalyan or the instruction or the message, only a master can give, not an ordinary people. When we go around and start preaching the message and everything, nothing will happen. We should focus on our journey. And I belong to that category as well. Okay, just because I'm narrating it doesn't, I should not be talking about that. I'm facilitating this, but we have people like Swamiji, Maharajji, who have that authority because they are saints. They can transform us, they can explain these things. But when we go for Jiva Kalyan, to protection of our dharma and all that stuff, we are actually putting our spiritual journey in jeopardy at that point because we don't have that authority. Yes, Champaji, is your audio fixed now? I see Monica ji after that as well.
Radhe Radhe Champaji.
Radhe Radhe Champaji.
Now let's take Monica ji. You might want to.
Champaji, if you want to rejoin, I think there's some problem with your audio. So you want to rejoin and try it out. By the way, this has been the most philosophical discussion, one of the most, I would say, we have had on this topic, because this is a very confounding topic. I have struggled with it for a long time. Why this creation and going through this karmic cycle and all that stuff. So yes, let's hear. I can see a few more hands. Yes, Monica ji, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe everyone. Radhe Radhe. So Nitin ji, I had the privilege of talking to you in the very beginning, and this was my first question, I still remember. So I the answer, but then I'm still trying to play the devil's advocate, and maybe from a son's point of view, let's say the son says that none of the options. I don't want to take the birth only. Right? I don't want anything, not even the birth.
Yeah, that was my other thing. So let me say, that's why I put the third point, where a father knows the potential is endless in this person, and the son says, I'm going to sleep my way to glory. Okay. Now, as a parent, your son has endless potential, the third point that I put in, but your son says, Mom, I enjoy sleep, and that's all I want to do for the rest of my life. As a responsible parent, what would you do basically? Think of it that way. Son, right. God is not going to let us sleep for the rest of eternity, okay? Because he knows you have a potential, and he will push the envelope for you until you realize that potential, because he wants to give you everything. So sleeping is not an option.
So again, the devil's advocate, Nitinji. So let's say the God realizes, of course, he knows the potential. But when we are born, and obviously when we are growing up, we don't know the soul concept or anything about it, right? Unless we are fortunate enough to get into classes like this, or spiritual beings around. So how does that come into play? Karma starts accumulating from some point, right?
Yeah, so it is said, we have been bahirmukh to God since time eternity. It's like a cyclical process. Now, accumulating, it's like, okay, now here's a framework, here's a game, whether you're going to look this way, becoming an enjoyer, or you're going to question, okay, why am I here? And the day you start asking, why am I here? Then the master and everything, all those things will start unfolding for you. It's because of the lack of the choice or exertion of our free will in the wrong direction, because of which we are here. That is why it seems so difficult for some people who have made good progress. For them, these concepts come very easily and naturally to them right from the word go. So it's only our undoing. But to your point, okay, the starting point, I get that. Starting point, I don't know why we were facing Maya. That would be my question when I meet God, that why did you make me face Maya to begin with? Why not made me, facing you to begin with? So few answers we will get when we'll become God realized only. I don't know, we can get all the answers right now. So maybe that's another incentive God has kept us for us to keep progressing and become God realized. That answer to that question I need. Okay, if that is your motivation, let's get even faster on this path now.
Yes. So Nitinji, when you answered this question initially, you mentioned that we are the fragment energy of God, that Tathastha Shakti, right? And he's giving us an opportunity to be part of him. But then the only question that, it's still in my mind is, let's say the son wants to sleep throughout to the glory and then not go through Maya and then accumulate karma and then go through Maya again and then again continue to accumulate karma, because there it's like we are getting being played.
So
So
God
that
is saying the journey is going to be long and arduous, but it
Mhm.
will be worth the effort. When we will become godlike, we'll say it was all worth it. Okay, so let's work with that promise for now. We will say it was all worth it. Okay. So let's work with that hope for now, because it's a bit of a philosophical discussion, and I know it can get tricky. But hopefully a little better than before after today's discussion.
You wanted to add something?
Yeah, just one point I wanted to add, which I forgot earlier. Like, though God is Atmarati, but still he experiences a higher bliss through the bliss of his devotees. So that is also one thing that
So
can
God
be
is selfish also, I would say, in that case, right?
from that perspective.
Yes. He wants to experience the higher bliss, because one is the bliss that God has himself, because God is bliss. Second, the bliss he experiences when the devotee experiences the bliss of God. So by being the virtue of being seated inside our soul, he also experiences that, and that bliss is much more relishable than his own bliss. So maybe God has some selfish motives around that as well. Great point.
And there is one question that Urvi has asked, and that's pretty interesting. So, is there any difference between mukti and sleep in God's Mahodar,
I think
rather than?
it's kind of
Sorry?
similar, from
Are
that.
they? Even I am not sure, so I.
Yeah, na rahega baans na bachegi baans. So it's kind of a thing. So Maharaj Ji has explained it. I don't know. I mean, unless I get mukti, I can explain it. Was it a similar experience as deep sleep or not? But it
No,
is
because
kind of.
if
Kind
that
of.
is the case, yeah, if that is the case, then it's a loss, right? We are just getting Atma thing,
That is
not
why
the
it is
Premanand,
mukti.
right?
Maharaj Ji said mukti is spiritual suicide.
So then what Monica ji was asking, that sleep is not bliss, right? It's just Atmanand. We are leaving on
Sleep
Premanand.
is bliss. See, Monica ji, if you are in a deep sleep, it is a bliss that you are not aware of. If you are in consciousness that you're aware, I'm having this bliss, then it would have made sense. Otherwise, if you don't even have an existence, is that a better proposition, or having an opportunity to wake up and work towards something which is, kind of a deal where you don't even have an existence? It's not like you're sleeping and you're enjoying. You don't even exist at that point. So God is giving us an opportunity. That is also his mercy. In a wakeful state, he's giving us that opportunity. Again, you will play a devil's advocate. I know that. So let's see. Okay. Let's hear from Champaji. She was trying if her audio is fixed now.
Radhe Champaji.
Yes, Champaji. Are you back?
No, we can't hear.
Okay, we're not able to hear. Yes, Aparna ji, you wanted to add something?
Yes, just one thing. If we get everything on a platter, there would be no concept of like working, I mean, having bhakti and surrendering.
We have no reason to improve ourselves, right?
Right, exactly.
Very true. So God has our best interests in mind, right? So that is why he wants us to improve and then experience everything. Very true. Thank you so much. Naka Bugoji.
Radhe Nakabuguji.
By the way, just wanted to reiterate, we don't have a session tomorrow because of Mahashivratri. So if you'll turn up at 9 o'clock, don't be disappointed, because none of us will be there. Okay. I'll see you next week, Tuesday morning, Monday night US, Tuesday morning India time. So, all right. Yes, Nakabugoji, you wanted to say something?
Radhe.
Yes, Radhe.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. According to
And
this
please
point,
fill out the feedback tracker as well, in case you have any further questions, or in journal, provide your feedback about the session itself. Yes, Nakabukaji, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
for my design, I had taken option 3, but according to what I see in my own life, if I compare with this, it is giving me taking me somewhere, another point. Like we had everything, but when our father died, everyone got. But for me, I sold everything and I gave them the money. But for them, they don't have anything.
and they received a lot of love from our parents. And for me and my sister, we did not, but we sold everything and gave them the money. They got everything, but they misused it because
Yes.
of our love, and they were not well prepared.
Very true, Raka.
Yes.
Got the
But
concept, yes.
we are somewhere, and for them who got everything, they don't have anything right now. They lost everything, they misused everything. Like,
True.
yeah.
This is how
They,
it goes basically in material world as well. Michael Jordan had said the worst thing he did to his relatives was to give them money. Because when he started making it big in life, the NBA star, Michael Jordan, he started giving it to his relatives and friends. And he said that was the worst thing I did to them. Because first of all, it capped their own potential because they got things on a platter. Secondly, their relationships turned sour because that expectations start building, right? So I think it's something similar you spoke about. Great point. Thank you so much for that. Let's quickly take the remaining hands and then we can move to our devotional segment if we have, because we are going to have a bit of a break. So we can conclude our discussion because I know we are over today and it's a very interesting discussion that is going on. So let's cover everybody. Yes, Swati ji, you wanted to add something as well?
Radhe Radhe, Swati ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I would like to add one point. Just now, Monica ji said that sleeping, if we keep sleeping, then it's better. But sleeping is like an escape. We are trying to escape or trying to take rest or halt. But again, we have to face the problem in the life. So it's better that we keep on progressing, keep on facing the problem and getting over past one by one. Then sleeping and then again get up and then again start the journey. So it will be like pause taking and then again going ahead. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, thank you, Swati ji. Yeah, I know Monica ji is not convinced with this argument. I get that. But yeah, God wants us to learn a few things and become better. Okay. Yes, Champaji, is your audio fixed? We've been trying. Maybe third time we get lucky.
Radhe Radhe, Champaji. I think you have to rejoin.
Yeah, you'll have to rejoin, Champaji. You're not able to hear you. Yes, Monica ji, go ahead. And then we have Manoranjan ji, probably the last hand. And if anybody wants to chant, you can raise your hand and maybe we can take one or two because we are already over today. Yes, Monica ji, go ahead.
So, Nitinji, I was playing devil's advocate just for everybody to understand, right? I had my answer, number one. And number two, when you said the sleeping soul obviously cannot experience the bliss. So I got my answer there. So which is why I was happy when you said that. And then this is why I was waving that I got my answer, not that I'm not convinced.
But become dad today, okay? Dad means devil's advocate. Okay.
It's just that the only answer which is still I'm looking for is why not face spiritual beings or people who can tell us about soul and all that concept when we start our journey.
It's a choice you have to make. You are the author of your destiny. Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, if you make spirituality as your priority and spend majority of life seeking that answer, I will make sure you are born in a family where right from the word go, you are introduced to these concepts and you get a good kickstart in your spiritual journey. It really depends on you. If you have not made it a priority, then you will be born in situations, circumstances, country, religion, whatever, where in due course of time you can reclaim it back, but then it's all decided by us only, how much prioritized we have made this thing. So once we make spirituality as priority, then God he's kind enough to make it, facilitate this process for us across lifetimes and give us the conducive circumstances right from the word go.
Right. So become what?
It's our own choice. Yes, around that.
I got my answers, Nitinji. Thank you for the refresher.
Great. Let's hear from Urvi and then Manoranjan ji. And then I think Himani is going to sing. So I look forward to that as well. Yes, Urvi, go ahead. I know you are thinking a lot. So let's hear from you.
Before we take Urvi, there is a comment in the chat that if someone drops now, he will lose knowledge after 10 p.m., which is not fair. So we should be focusing more on the devotion.
That is why we have the video that we post, so you can take benefit from the videos for the recording. But this is a very profound discussion that we are having. So this session, look out for this video. I think we've gone through a lot of interesting concepts today. So video I'll be posting next week around this. Yes, Urvi, go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Actually, I wanted to ask a question and I don't know how much it just came into my mind. So I wanted to ask that do all the souls in this, in the entire universe, do all of us have a guru? Always? Because, and then when we get the human form, the guru comes to our rescue once
Okay, so
again.
this is how it works, Survi. Guru, it's like God only has that formula. So let's say, for example, in your spiritual merit that you need to acquire for you to get Guru, the score needs to be 10. And you are currently at the score 6. Until you reach 10, you will not get a Guru. But when you reach 10, Guru will automatically appear in front of you. That is how it works. So not all the souls have it because somebody has to make it a priority, first of all. How many people make God a priority? Bahu Janmante in Bhagavad Gita, it says, Sahastreshu, Krishna has used that word. Amongst millions, very few. Out of 7 billion, 8 billion people, how many read Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis? So not everybody has it. The master appears when the disciple is ready. And for you to become a disciple, first you have to become a seeker. And not everybody is a seeker right now. They are too happy in this material world, thinking of it as a be-all and end-all of everything. Right? There's a quotation that the biggest problem of this world is that we are too busy holding on to our unworthiness without knowing it is unworthiness. So, but yeah, not everybody has a guru. We are very fortunate to have a guru, so we should make the most of it. And once you establish that relationship, it continues across lifetimes. So you can pinch yourself and feel good about it. Urvi.
Okay, thank you, Radhe Radhe.
We have it a jackpot, spiritual jackpot, so we should feel extremely fortunate and happy about it. And this journey will continue now. Okay, Guru never leaves the hand once we establish that relationship, and he's extremely pleased when we follow the instructions and more grace is drawn at that point. Great question, Urvi. Thank you. You're asking it for the benefit of all. Manishi, you wanted to say something? By the way, Manishi, I wanted to let him know his wife is undergoing another surgery next week. So let's keep her in our prayers, the family, so that she gets the strength and Manishi gets that too. Manishi, you wanted to say something as well?
Yeah, I wanted to actually just do a small sing line for
Okay,
since
so singing.
Shivratri is coming up.
Sure. We'll have you sing. Manoranjanji, you wanted to sing as well?
Radhe,
am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Last one, yeah, we can, sure.
Yeah, actually, when we saw the WhatsApp message, it says that we will find the answers that why God created this universe.
Oh, we haven't found it yet.
After all the discussion, actually, I didn't came to the conclusion why actually God created the universe. So can you have an one-liner?
Okay, so I think I should have published it as we will try to find, not that we'll get an answer. Because so one-liner is, I don't know, maybe we can continue with this discussion because it will pop up some more questions. Did you join right from the beginning? Hopefully we peeled a few layers around it, but I did not give a guarantee.
Yeah, I did that.
Money back guarantee on we will find the answer, but hopefully we peeled some layers and got a little bit of a clarity around this concept that it's out of God's mercy, because everybody needs a prayojan to work, and God's prayojan is for the welfare of souls. And this creation is his mercy. He's giving us multiple lifetimes so that we can perfect ourselves and become like God one day. And it is out of his mercy because he wants to share all that he has, like a father would like to share everything with his son, as you know, with the condition that he's ready for it. He's not going to misuse it. And he has actually worked on himself to earn that inheritance. And similarly, God is basically created this with perfect just laws and the condition of his mercy for our welfare only. So that is a quick synopsis of what we were discussing.
I'd like to share one insight if you give me time, only half a minute.
Okay.
If you see in many parts of Srimad Bhagavatam, many times it is written that God created this universe out of nothing means for amusement खेल खेल में ऐसा this word is particularly written means used खेल खेल में ईश्वर ने ये सृष्टि बना दिया तो वास्तव में तो when we try to understand that why God created the universe we will land as nowhere because as Tulsidas also has said and many saints also have said they have been trying to find the answer but since our intellect is very poor or it is minuscule so it will be difficult for us to find the answer.
Fair point,
the answer is surrendering.
Yeah, fair point. There are few things we'll get to know only after God realization. I picked up an illustration based on what Swamiji has spoken about to make this concept a little more palatable to our intellects. Okay, that's about it. So
thank you.
that thing, so that it makes a little. So just to appreciate the concept that khel mein to that is fine, but then God also works with a motive, right? And for the welfare of the souls. So we were trying to bring in a material analogy to get a little deeper into this concept. Okay, if it peels some layers, great. If it doesn't, then the objective was not to get a conclusive answer and say, hey, we have cracked it today. That was never the intention. All right, Manishi, go ahead, please. And then we have Himanichi, and before we wrap up our session. So let's move to our devotional segment. Please go ahead, Manishi.
Okay, thank you, Nitinji. Radhe Radhe, everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
Just for Mahashivratri, a few lines. I love this bhajan, the song. So hopefully I get it. I'm driving, so. ईश्वर सत्य है सत्य ही शिव है शिव ही सुंदर है जागो उठ कर देखो जीवन ज्योत उजागर है सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम ईश्वर सत्य है सत्य ही शिव है शिव ही सुंदर है सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम सत्यम शिवम सुंदरम. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Manishi. Thank you very much. I know you're driving and still you pulled it off. So very nice. Loved it. Great. Over to you, Himani. We will end it on a high note with a high pitch from Himani. So let's go ahead.
Okay, so I will sing Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 from Yugal Madhuri. Radhe Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Shri Radhe 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 Prema Gathe Mahe Prema Sikha De Shri Radhe 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 Krishna Radhe Shri Radhe 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 Radhe.
Outstanding. I'm speechless and I can't say enough for that. Loved it. That's all I can say. If anybody can have any words left, then please go ahead and say that. Loved it, Himani. See, when you keep on reciting Radhe Radhe, right, you start getting special Shaktis, and we can see that live testimonial there. That is the power of Radha, name of Radha itself. Maharaj used to say, you chant it for 10 days, start filling your vacuums with this name, and a lot of kalyan would happen. And amazing the way you sang. I don't have words for it. Like, all I can say is thank you for taking us to a different world altogether when you sing. So appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. All right. Yes, Shyamji, you wanted to say something? Anita ji, we have people who want to say something today. We have one of the longest sessions today after a long time, right? Why did God create creation? Got it. Yes, Shyamji, you wanted to say something?
Radhe, Radhe, just one thought. Every time she said Radha, it had different bhav, and no one other was same. ये कहना चाहूंगा, राधा नाम में शक्ति इतनी है कि हर बार राधा का नाम अलग अलग जुबान से आया, अलग भाव से आया, और हम लोग अलग भाव में खो गए. That's the power of Radha, and that's the power Himani has got through the Radha's grace. God bless her always. Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. It's a lot of blessings for you, Himani. Keep up the good work. Yes, Anita ji, you want to say something?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Like Himani ji's voice got like inbuilt echo, like inbuilt thrown up voice, like she got a microphone inside her voice. And it's so sweet, melodious, and like it's such a blissful experience even when we hear in satsang. And here I feel like I'm hearing from like a divine abode, like that it echoes in your inside. That's so well, I can't express the feeling very well, like just a few words. That's it. Thank you.
Very true. True. See, Maharajji, Krishna, they have their own ways of getting things done. Right? So they trained Himani with opera singing first, because so that one day she could sing this. And that is how it works. Right? Now all the things that I've done in my past, job-wise or study-wise, now I know all that is falling in place. So they train you to get something better done. So your opera training is coming in really handy, right, Himani? Microphone in your voice, as you can say. Yes, Neetu ji, go ahead, please.
Hello, Radhe Radhe, everybody. I'm sorry, it's really late, but I just couldn't stop myself. Himani ji, thank you so much. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. Like Anita ji said, there's no words how to describe that feeling, but it gave me goosebumps. It was so beautiful. Thank you.
Goosebumps is the right day. So
yeah, I have the biggest monkey mind, and I
you
just
come
cannot.
to Dallas. You come to Dallas. You come to Dallas, and then you can get the privilege of hearing her live also.
Oh my God, I really want to come. And this summer, yeah, we are planning to come. So I'll see you, Himani ji, for sure.
Yeah. Great. One more hand, and then I think we can wrap up our session. I know it's really late. Who is Manish? You wanted to say something as well? And then we can wrap up. Please fill out the feedback tracker. Look out for the recording for this session, because we had a pretty engaging discussion today, and beautiful singing as always from Himani. Yes, Manishi, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I'm driving, so I can't type, but I just want to say it was really soulful and absolutely divine, blissful voice that Himani ji has. And yeah, there's no need for a microphone. It's amazing. The way she sings is just amazing. I think Payal, was it Payal ji? Her
Payal
voice
ji.
was also like that, right?
We have some
really,
amazing
really
singers.
blissful.
Amazing singers in our
Yeah.
session. we do get the privilege to hear them from time to time. So I'm glad we added this segment to our session. So
Yeah, this is actually a really wonderful segment. And the discussion today was amazing too. Thank you very much, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. All right, then stay inspired and stay blessed. I look forward to seeing you next week. Happy weekend and happy Mahashivratri to all of you. I look forward to seeing you at the temple over the weekend, and we are going to sell and eat a lot of pani puris. Okay, that is the taste I would leave you with for the weekend. So have a wonderful, wonderful time. I'll see you next week. Radhe Radhe and good night. Good day, everyone.